Welcome to the Community Forum. My name is John Gogliettino. I'm your host. This week we're changing gears to nonprofit arena. I've been involved with nonprofits for years and years and years in various fashions, but this is a group, Ann's Place, that's been around for 26 years and has done a lot of good work. For those that are new in the area, you're going to be getting an education. For those that haven't had much to do with the organization, we'll bring you up to date. With me tonight is the executive director, and that's Shannon Cobb. So I want to welcome you onto the show.
Thank you very much.
And
Good to be here.
you're welcome. And before we get into some ideas that we're going to talk about, can you tell us a little bit about yourself to the viewers, which are located in Richfield, Bethel, and Danbury?
Well, I am fairly new to Ann's Place. I've been there almost 6 months now, but I'm not new to Danbury. I've been living in Danbury with my college sweetheart and my 2 boys for almost 16 years.
Okay.
Go to church in Ridgefield at Jesse Lee United Methodist Church for just as long. And I go back for years and years in the nonprofit sector, from down in the Washington, D.C. area over to San Diego area, and then out here in Connecticut and Westchester and Putnam County. So
you've seen the world a little bit, and now you've seen Danbury, the Danbury
yes.
area.
Danbury is the best, absolutely.
Danbury, Richfield, and Bethel, that is, yes. So for those that never heard of Ann's Place, what does Ann's Place do?
Well, Ann's Place provides a place for people who are going through cancer or facing cancer and their loved ones to come and receive free counseling, wellness services, support while they're going through cancer, after treatment, and even beyond. What we find is that we have a wonderful medical institution that takes care of people's physical health. But what happens when you're facing cancer is you really go through a tailspin emotionally. And so this is a place people can go and relieve some stress, relieve anxiety, be with others that are going through the same thing. Speak one-on-one with a counselor if some of the feelings are more intense. And we have people from all walks of life come, whether they're a family member, a friend of somebody, a dear friend that has a dear friend going through cancer and they don't know how to respond, to the people themselves that are facing cancer, children, men, and women.
Now you cover this entire area, northern Fairfield County. You also go up to New Milford, or is it as far out as you can go, Western Connecticut, pretty much?
Right. Anybody that comes to us can get services, as long as they're facing cancer in some way. So they don't have to even live in the area. However, most people do live in the area. The types of care that we provide, people want to be within a half-hour drive usually. So most of our services are Danbury, Ridgefield residents, and then we have about 10 to 15 communities outside that sort of have the equal amounts of clients coming from those regions as well.
Now, where do you get your funding? Is there a certain amount of government funding, and then the rest is fundraising through group? You get obviously get United Way, but there's other groups also that might help you.
Yeah, the only government funding that we receive is the City of Danbury gives us a grant, and Ridgefield gives us a small grant as well. But the vast majority of our funding are individuals, corporations, and our special events. So we have our big events like Festival of Trees that most people know about in this area. We have 2 golf tournaments, a run that we do with the Amber Room, a fashion show in Ridgefield, and a bunch of little events that people do for us, community fundraisers. And all of that brings in about half of the $1,117,000 we have to raise every year.
Wow.
So it's a lot. And then the rest is individuals and grants. So it's just the kindness of people.
Do you have legacies also, if people wanted to leave a a grant or something in their will to you?
We would love that. We don't have a big endowment really right now.
Right.
So much went into building the facility that's on 80 Sawmill Road. It's a beautiful facility. They poured their hearts and souls into it. We had a huge team of volunteers working on that project. And now we have to turn around and say, okay, how are we going to maintain it? So we're just now getting to that point where we've stabilized the budget and we need to start looking at the future.
Right. So you're constantly looking for other volunteers, because as some volunteers have knocked themselves out in the past, it's time maybe to rest a little more. So for that purpose and also the purpose of people looking for services, if you can give us your website and whatever other information. But I would think that most of the information people are looking for, whether they want to volunteer or whether or not they're looking for services, would be on your website, right?
It is, and the website is www.ansplace.org, ANSPLACE.org, ansplace.org. You can just Google us. But as far as the volunteers go, we have a very small staff team. We have 10 people that run Ann's Place, but we have 960 volunteers.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
But it's always
And
good if
we
somebody
need
else.
more.
Yeah.
There's always a need for volunteers, and it sometimes is something very small. I just had a Girl Scout troop in delivering birdhouses for our gardens, and then before that we had Elements Massage that did a fundraiser for us around their massages, and $10 a massage went to Ann's Place, and I went down with a big check with them. So every week there are people showing up, supporting Ann's Place from big to little, but it all goes into the budget, and it all helps to provide these services for people for free. We don't want to charge. We never want to charge. We want people to come in and take an art class, do yoga, do one-on-one counseling, go to their support group, and not have to worry about the finances. When you're going through cancer, you're having to deal with enough. So that's our goal, and luckily the community agrees with us, and so far, knock on wood, we've been able to meet our budget needs. That's
very good. Good to hear. You know, but can you run through the planned year? Because you mentioned a number of things, and people were saying, I wish you didn't run through it. I would like to write that down and maybe participate in something. So it may vary from month to month as to when something is, but I'll leave it to you if you start your calendar year, or if you want to start with your fiscal year, maybe month by month, what activity happens then, so people have an idea. Yeah, I'd like to do that. When is that? July? You know, and that kind of thing.
All right.
You know.
Well, if you like to golf, we have a ladies golf tournament at Richter Park on June 26th, and we have our big Ann Olson golf tournament on September 11th at Ridgewood. Both are phenomenal golf tournaments. They're always well attended, so come on out for those. After that, we have our Amber Run. Actually, no, that's in August. So that, usually we have people develop teams, and then they do fundraising around the run, and then they get out there and either if they're a runner or a walker, they can come out. But that attracts about 400 folks that want to participate. And the Festival of Trees is the weekend before Thanksgiving. It is 3.5 days. It is
3.5 days.
Yes.
Wow.
It requires 498 volunteers, at least it did last year, and so there's always something for people to get involved
Well, I'm sure you
with.
got it all written down to make sure that it's done, you know, as correct as possible from the previous year, because, you know, that way you don't lose money, you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It actually is about a quarter of our budget comes in with Festival of Trees.
Well, you got to make sure then. I'm sure there's a little book on that one.
Yes, we have a very large committee. We always are looking for new committee members with fresh ideas.
Okay.
And they work all year long. It's really actually 6 events in one. We have a gala dinner in it. We have a Taps and Trees event.
That's why the name Festival of Trees. Okay.
That's right. That's
All
right. But most people just come out for shopping and to put in for raffle tickets for the trees that are gorgeous. We have people donating trees that are all decorated, and people put in raffle tickets, as well as thousands of dollars worth of other raffle items.
So if somebody volunteers, they don't have to do all of it, but if they want to just work on the dinner, they can work on the dinner.
Yep.
If they just wanted to work with the trees, they can work with the trees.
You
But
got it.
anything you want, but you need your number
That's
of volunteers. So after that, what would come in the month, and are we talking about December now?
Yeah, in December, we really just do our year-end appeal. And so we send out notes, and if anybody's making that end-of-year gift, we ask them to consider Ann's Place.
Okay. And then any activity in January, or is it just up like a planning month?
We are planning a lot.
And you got the activities for next year for the
Yeah.
you know, the tree program. And then February, anything going on?
You know, there's almost always something going on.
But they're lesser.
Yeah, sometimes people will do community fundraisers where it's either their Girl Scout troop or somebody just does a dinner party.
You get a portion of the
Yep.
money that's being raised, and they say, oh, let's do Ann's Place. We always have a little bit left over, you know.
Yeah.
So you might get the additional 1,000 or whatever. But that
Yep.
this is how your budget gets hit. you know.
Absolutely. 10 to 12% of our budget comes in from community fundraisers, which is a huge portion.
That's how I met you. Was with the Moose do?
That's right.
You know, the dip.
The
money.
dip,
Yeah.
the moose dip.
Yeah.
Yes, one of our staff members, Jeff, jumped into icy cold water for that one,
Yes.
as well as many other people.
Right.
So
You know,
however
so-
you can raise money, we're there.
So there's activities going on, even if there's not a formal activity on the
Yes.
part of Ann's Place.
Yes.
Right. Anything in March?
Oh, you're really.
Hey, I
Those
said
are the
well,
big ones.
that
So,
you
yeah.
covered the big ones. So
Yeah.
there.
And then just the community fundraisers, it's up to the community what we get involved with. And we're always on game for something. So
Right.
we enjoy getting out there.
Okay. So one more time on the website. Yes.
So it's www.annsplace.org. So ANNSPLACE.org.
Is there anything on the agenda for the future? Any other activities that you're thinking of but you haven't come up with, or anything you could share with us? We have a little time, so.
Well, we have events for our clients all the time as well, and so
Well, maybe you talk about
yeah.
services. Yeah.
So as I said, we have 10 staff. We have 23 volunteer pro bono clinicians and wellness support. And they come in and provide those extra services. So all of our art programs are guest artists.
So people come in, they spend the time, as long as there's somebody there that wants to do a little bit of art, that you know, they've got that time slot or whatever that day put aside.
Yep.
They'll take care of the extras if a couple extra people come in or whatever, right?
Right. We have our Reiki specialists that are the Reiki masters. We have 5 right now. They rotate free services. We have several yoga instructors that assist us. We have a Tai Chi instructor who's wonderful. We have someone that does dance therapy. We have a horticulture therapist that comes in.
Wow.
As well as all of our group facilitators. We have 15 different support groups depending on where you are in your cancer journey or who you want to hang out with. So we have a young professionals group. We have a men's group. Our men's group is actually one of our largest groups. They fill up the room. And then we have the long-term survivors. We have the different types. We have breast cancer, ovarian cancer, so people can come based on what type of cancer they have and where they are in the treatment. You know, pre-treatment, post-treatment, in treatment. So just about everybody.
Now, do you have any, if people need to go to the doctor and it's not something that's connected, but is there any attempt to help people with driving them around if they're short on, let's say their relatives went out of town and you know, and they're looking for somebody to cover for covering them with the doctor's appointments or anything like that, or is there another group that's concentrating? Because that's the question that comes.
Yeah, transportation.
Comes up.
In every nonprofit I've worked in, that's one of the biggest issues in regions like ours is getting people where they need to be. So
Right.
there are organizations that help. They never have enough volunteers. We do have volunteers that you know, help talk through these things. But also our staff will sit with somebody and go through all of their needs, whether it be financial or transportation, and they'll help kind of direct them to where those services are and get them connected. So we do a lot of referrals, sometimes over the phone, sometimes in person, depending on what the person needs.
Now, I misplaced my notes here. Before we started, and I was busy finishing up the other show here, Buy a Brick program, right? What is that? Did it have to do with the construction when the building was built? And
there's plenty of bricks still to buy.
Okay.
Our memorial patio is available to people who would like to memorialize someone that's gone on, and they can buy a brick in memory of someone.
We can't say how much, but because this is Comcast rules, but we can. But you have bricks
right
as
on
a
our
memorial.
website.
It's on the website, and then the Chapel Chapel. There's two L's. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a spirituality room as well, so that people can come in and have memorials there if they want. We also do our music therapy in that room as well. So there are ways. Everybody heals different. Everybody journeys different. And so one of the things Ann's Place does is we kind of meet people where they are, and we work out a plan of how they want to heal, whether they're a family member of someone that they've lost, or whether they're going through cancer themselves and it changes them. They come out the other side a different person. And so we're there to journey and kind of help them, incorporate that into their new life.
Now, there's the people that are having the cancer, but then sometimes it's a shock to the family. Are counselors available for both, or are they just for the cancer?
The whole family.
The whole family.
The whole family. That's very important, because if the caregiver is not rested, supported, they have all kinds